three major components that will drive the Arab voters to come back into the election ballots. We saw a reduction in the last elections of about a third of the voters that chose not to vote. But it seems that there is some kind of renewed energy in the last, specifically month, that is bringing Arab voters. We see that polls indicate that the turnout rate is going to increase from somewhere around 38% a month ago to around 49 to 51% today. And that means that there will be, every 4% in the Arab community is translated with one seat in the Knesset. So that's an addition of almost 3 additional seats that might enter into the Knesset as a result of Arab political participation. The 3 reasons behind that: one is the internal competition within the Arab political parties. There's a serious competition that was presented by Ballot Party that split from the joint list. And Sami Abu Shahadi, the leader of this party, is making absolutely a strong campaign that from one end is bringing him closer and closer to the threshold that is needed to enter the Knesset. Last polls gave him almost 2.75, but that's not enough. He needs 3.25% of the total vote. But at the same time, this is weakening Hadash, and Hadash is trying to work hard to guarantee its representation. In the last elections, Hadash and the joint list pretty much didn't work in the elections, and now they're working much harder. The second reason is fear from the alternative of a new government that might be led by Benjamin Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, and Smotrich, whose policies, as presented in the campaign, are very scary for Arab citizens. For Ben Gvir to become the Minister of Interior Security, this might mean more confrontations against Arab citizens, house demolitions, and things like that, something that the Arab community is not interested. They're more and more interested in integrative policies that bring more Arab citizens into academia, into high-tech, into medical industry, and so on. And the third, I think, is the fact that the center-left political leaders are daring more to speak in a language that is softer to the ears of the Arab community. We saw Yair Lapid in his visit to Nazareth. We hear also Mirav Mikhaeli. They are beginning to talk more and more about proper partnership, political partnership between the center-left political parties with the Arab parties, from the talk about integrating the United List with Mansour Abbas as full member of the coalition, but also Hadash Ta'al as potentially being part of what's called the preventive bloc, or a bloc that prevents right-wing and provides a safety net for a future center-left party, a government, and as such also get some privileges from that kind of a relationship.
And I want to ask you very quickly, we've got about 45 seconds left. Hadash Ta'al and Ra'im campaigning among the Jewish population to get their messaging out. But what are they exactly pushing to Jewish voters, and how effective can it really be?
Well, I'm not sure they can really get that many votes. I think there are some indications that the United List might get somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000 votes. Many people that expect that or hope to hear this integrative voice from the Arab community, but this is not a significant number. The same thing with the Hadash Ta'al. They used to get always 5,000 to 10,000 votes. I don't think this is going to change either. Balad, I doubt they might be able to get maybe 1,000 votes from the Jewish community. Mostly these are votes that they look for legitimization of their role in the eyes of the Jewish community, and not that much votes that might get translated with seats in parliament.
Mohammad, we're going to keep you with us. We're going to take a short break. Right back into Israeli elections and how the Arab voter turnout might determine the outcome this time around. We're going to bring back in Mohammad Darawshe, political analyst and strategic director at the Givat Haviva Institute. Thank you so much for staying with us. I want to ask you now about the Arab support perhaps among the right wing. Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party campaigning among Arab voters. But what is the sense among the Arab community when it comes to the Likud, and specifically to Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, traditionally, Arab voters voted for government or ruling parties. And this is mostly private or personal interest motivations or sectorial interests. The sectorial interests usually in the past, they used to come from very peripheral communities, such as the Druze community or some of the Bedouin communities in the south, people that have some interest in trying to get maybe housing permits or get some jobs or get some personal or family type benefits. It's not ideological votes. The right wing in Israel cannot really attract ideological votes from the Arab community. We saw that Shas has been successful in the past. We even see that Lieberman has been successful also getting mostly Druze type of voters. In the last elections, there was a peak moment that Benjamin Netanyahu was attracting somewhere around 3 seats from the Arab parties. In reality, on the day of the elections, this got translated into only half a seat in the last elections. And the same thing, I think, is this time that Netanyahu might be able to get somewhere around half a seat from the Arab community. These are people that are counting that they want to be in a relationship with the next ruling party. They assume that Benjamin Netanyahu, according to the polls, might be the next prime minister, and they want to be close to the plate. They want to be able to get benefits, personal benefits, or sectorial benefits, and not necessarily ideological politics. It's not identity-based voting, it's interest-based voting.
I want to talk to you now about a little bit further to the right. Right-wing extremist Itamar Ben-Gvir campaigning in Arabic. Analysts are saying that the announcement of him saying he would want that public safety position in the government is infuriating Arab voters, and Netanyahu promising to give a ministerial position to Ben-Gvir in the government. So he's campaigning in Arabic, but what is the voters' reaction to this? You're mentioning that they are not going to receive ideological votes, but what is the purpose of campaigning in Arabic to voters that he often says are criminals, are terrorists, and the list goes on? What do you think?
Well, I think that the campaign of the right wing, specifically Benjamin Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir, is trying to bring the Arab community to feel more disgust in Israeli politics and try to convince them not to even go and vote. It's a campaign to put the Arab community in some kind of a deep sleep, to say Israeli politics is not fair, the Israeli government is not fair, the state of Israel is not fair. It's that the right wing is going to be, is seeing Arab citizens as illegitimate, and as such, we should even walk out of the political system. This fits, by the way, by those that are from more radical perspectives or more identity-based politics, people that feel that they want more democratic state, and when the non-democratic nature of the state expresses itself with those kind of statements, then some of those people pull out of the system and they feel this sense of marginalization in Israeli politics or delegitimization of the status of Arab citizens. And I think that's the strategy of the Likud, to have as many Arab citizens stay home, as many Arab citizens not participate in the elections. This, for the Likud, every Arab vote is considered to be part of the center-left bloc, and as such, the more people, the more Arab citizens do not vote, the more the center-right wing will be bigger. In certain parts of Arab society, this is actually working. Some people are taking it to heart and saying, we want to walk with their feet, meaning we will not even reach the ballots and we will not vote. But there's also contradictory response. People that are seeing that the right wing is on the rise and the right wing is trying to do more delegitimization of Arab citizens, that actually acts as a motivator to Arab citizens. I think that when Ben-Gvir pulled his gun in Sheikh Jarrah a couple of weeks ago, that added 2 to 3% in Arab turnout. So scare tactics sometimes maybe is supposed to do one thing, but it results with completely other thing. I think that the Ben-Gvir rise is and the embrace that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing to Ben-Gvir, from one end, it's pushing certain groups in the Arab community away, but from the other end, it's reviving what I would call more than nationalist people and the integrative people, people that might think in their head and say, well, we have a chance to try to prevent this scenario from happening, prevent Ben-Gvir Netanyahu type of government from happening, so let's go and participate in the elections. I think this is the trend that is happening in the last, specifically the last 2 weeks, as I mentioned, since Ben-Gvir pulled his gun in Sheikh Jarrah.
Mohammad Darawshe, thank you so much for staying with us, a political analyst and strategic director at the Givat Haviva Institute.